What's happening with you? You knocking them heads off too? You do what a player do? Can you guys hear me? Does it sound okay? Because I am trying a new microphone. That's why my neck is radioactive green. Is it too loud? Is it too low? I have my other microphone here, so if it does suck, I may have to switch it. It's my first time using it. I don't test anything because I'm a weirdo. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
You do test that.
Do I?
You sometimes test your power station.
True. It's been a long time since you came and hang out on the live.
Been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've showed your face. Thank you, sir. Thank you. What's up, sleeper? Hey, Sharon. Man, it's been a minute. It feels like. Sheesh. I'm still not 100%. I think I'm like 95. I still got this cough, but as with all things, one of my sons got sick and he gave it to everybody. It was good silver surfer. Hey, Kimberjack. Yeah. So, just off the top, a little housekeeping. I think I'm gonna move the lives because how I set up the lives before is like I would publish a video and then I would have a live the next day. But I think I may be shooting myself in the foot because I haven't talked this much in a while, so y'all bear with me. I think it's the live could be cannibalizing the views from the previous video. I don't know if they work differently, but typically they say it has been posited that if you put out a video, you should give about 48 hours before you put out another video. Otherwise, that video can kind of like pull away from the newness of the other video. So I wonder if my lives are doing that. Originally, intention was to have the lives after the video in case anybody had any questions. But you guys never have any questions about the previous day's video. So typically, I put out a video on Tuesdays, and I'll probably move the live to Thursdays instead of Wednesdays. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Oh, man. Perfect for anything. What's happening, man? Now, I know my man Stacks has a bunch of channels. So I don't know if Perfect for anything is Stacks or somebody else. Because he got a lot of channels around that topic. Hey, Kel. Good to see you. VMJM, it's been a minute. It's a bit lag. The audio. Oh, interesting. I have it plugged into, I can actually see the lag on the screen. I can kind of see how it's delayed. I don't know if that's the microphone or if that's just the quality of the stream in and of itself. Because I normally don't see this kind of lag on the whatever. That's interesting. Let's see here. Restarted the computer, the router. I didn't move the router out into the open like I normally do. But I don't see the questionable stream thing. What's up, Nathan? Hey, MJ. It has been a while, man. It has been a while. Let's see. I got a list here. So let's just go ahead and run down this thing. Oh, shoot. So I think I could have had that action, but it felt very flu-like. It wasn't like a minor cold. It knocked me down a bit. I had a day where I felt okay, and I got out in the yard and I was like cutting grass and doing some shoveling, like exerting some energy, and I feel like that was a mistake. I should have gave my body time to like really rest and all that jazz. Like a lot of my childhood was riddled with catching the flu every year. I don't think I had like a good immune system. So that's what it reminded me of. Everything was very like symptomatic of that when I would catch the flu in the winter. Yeah. That's why when I blow my nose hard, my nose bleeds and stuff like that. All of those things are like familiar to me. And I used to have coughing fits as a, yeah, I pretty much got the flu every year. Not like, like crazy, but I would get sick every year as a child. Hey man, learn. That's probably why. Hey, at least I don't have allergies. Sickness. My wife said that's why I'm weak. What's up, Mr. Repo? Leela Presti, what's happening? Good to see you guys. I wanted to give a couple updates on my system, Auntie Blessings. What's happening? I know, right? It's good to be back. The blood gauge, what's going on, man? Did I reply to your email? I hope I did. I was trying to reply to that email so many times, man. Like, you should just get on Telegram or something easy. So, a couple updates on what's going on around here. The EcoFlow River Max is just in my basement. I haven't done anything testing wise with it. I haven't figured out a load that I could put on it that's similar to my internet, which is about 20 watts. And I've just been kind of occupied with other stuff. So, it wasn't a big deal. The family and I, we took a little, trip to wherever we went. And that was cool. That kind of had me like out of the mix for a few days, but I haven't had a chance to test it yet. I can't risk putting it on the internet because I have to run it until it dies to see the capacity. I went down, or maybe my wife went down. I'm not sure who, but I missed this thing for a long time. She cleaned up downstairs and threw all my stuff in a bin that was loose. And I just didn't feel like being bothered with it. It was a whole point of contentious conversation with me and her about this whole thing. But I actually pulled this one back out. You can actually tell I'm not 100% because the voice is extra bassy. Shoot, I don't need to pull this out. This is my other one, the kilowatt, which I always have an extension on. And when I use this one, I typically have an extension on it. I like this one more than I like the kilowatt because this one has a battery in it that retains the information. You can see the screen. Did it come on? Yeah, it came on. If I the screen is like bad. So it retains all the information in it. So that's why I prefer this one other than a kilowatt, because the kilowatt, when it dies, all your information is gone. So I'm going to be testing the EcoFlow's capacity soon just to see what's going on there. Hey, 2%, what's happening? Steve, what's going on, man? It's been good seeing you in the comments and stuff. So I'm glad you were able to jump on the live. I pulled the trigger and have an AC300 plus a B300 on the way. Man, you got to keep me in the loop. Jeez. I'm jealous just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's a nice system, man. Jeez. So, the bull bat has, how does the audio sound? Because Setai got the wireless microphone too. And he was saying how it picks up everything. So, I got this, I don't want to open it. Well, I guess I'll open it. If it just syncs, it syncs. But this is the wireless microphone system that I was telling you guys about that will allow me and the wife to be chatting and stuff. And it's going to be super useful for multiple projects that we have in the creative space. So somebody specifically gave $30 to the joint. That kind of helped me because this thing was $330 plus tax. So when somebody gave me that $30, thank you to the person who gave me the $30 towards the microphone. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna grab it. And then it came up on Amazon. Because we have an Amazon credit card, I get to use that. And I don't know if I split the payments. I probably didn't. But I get cash back from it. I may have even had some credit from a previous purchase. Also, thank you to anybody who ever gave coins to the channel, because that's what allows me to buy some of the stuff that I grab to update the content and get purchases and stuff like that. So thank you guys. Okay, so the EcoFlow, boom. I haven't tested that yet. It's just down in the basement. The refurbished AC200P video. I was glad to be able to get that fan noise video out because not everybody watches the lives, and I've mainly been updating you guys on the live streams. So now I have something on wax that kind of shows that it had an issue. I was always suspicious that it was not refurbished. Not suspicious. I mean, it was blatant that it wasn't refurbished. And all of these things just kept kind of adding up, along with the observation that Jason Noy made, which was a pretty good one, is that there was an issue. One could deduce that there was an issue with the inverter because it's a 2000 watt inverter and it could never get that Alcatel to charge at its high speed. And Jason Noy made the point that maybe the Alcatel senses the voltage is not great there, and so it never boosted it up to the fast charge. Because when I plug that Alcatel into the wall, it charges at 1100 watts, no problem. So yeah, you know what I mean? Fan noise, 2 power bricks, shipped at 1%. Also had the inability to charge that Alcatel at its full capability. I'd say I built a pretty good case that thing wasn't refurbished. And I knew it wasn't refurbished because, yeah, I mean, y'all know. I know, right, man? Thanks for preparing for anything. It would be cool to do capacity test again on the same battery stations you've been using for a while. Yeah, I'm with you. I wish I had the thought to do it that way, because then I would have capacity tested the dips as soon as I got them, and then I could do it, especially with the EcoFlow being my first one, right? Because that's a 500 cycle one. So we're coming up on like the 18-month mark, if I haven't hit it already, where the battery capacity on that is supposed to start to degrade. And then you think about that max battery. I got that max battery about 8 to 12 months after I bought the device. So it would have been interesting, but I didn't have the consciousness of thought or whatever it is to do that. Thanks, Mr. Repo. Thanks, FM Mother, too. I appreciate that. Audio is good, very clear. Thank you, man. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Look at little Dell in the background. Yeah, she was messing around. There's something back there. All the books and learning materials is back there. That fine sounded like it was on its way out, right? Shay, listen, I don't have. I'm like cynical. I would like to say I'm a realist. I know that's kind of catchphrasy, but it's just like, man, there's too many like that. The fact that the dip shipped with 1% and it didn't have the accessories in it, it was like a red flag from the get-go, like dead giveaway, right? Dead giveaway. What's up, Joe Tyson? Always good to see you, sir. Let's see. All right. I talked about spreading the lives out. Catfish fan. So what? They turn. So my current situation is as follows with my current setup. Like I took a panel. We took that little trip, so I put all of my panels away except for I left 2 panels out. I left out the one that's in the front yard, and I left the one that's on my back porch out. I had like cameras and stuff like that. And I don't really necessarily worry about my porch panels walking away. It's those ones that's down in the driveway. I'm a little concerned about that one. Every morning I wake up, I'll be like, thank you, Lord, that these panels are still out here. Oh, man, that's an interesting thing. I won't get into that because that's a whole different conversation, but I'm always appreciative. But right now, I have the Alcatel and the Ace Volt. I think that's the first time I mentioned the Ace Volt's name. It's very similar to the Alcatel, if not almost identical to it. Almost. Those are both 2 kilowatt hour devices with 2 kilowatt inverters. And then my EB120 is in the garage. So I have the Renogy 320 watt, the HQST 190, and the Bluetti 180. All three of those are hooked into those bigger power stations. No power is being wasted at all. I may have talked about that in my real life with solar video. I'm not sure. I've recorded so many videos. It feels like that's kind of why I came up with the hashtag of Summer of Solar, because what I find is that it's easy for me to bang out a video because the sun's always out. It's not always out, but it's out more than it was during the winter. And then the weather's more inclement. So I could just get out there and kind of bang out and just put a video together real quickly. I actually have a video coming up soon about the Renogy 100 watt flexible panel that I got. And I actually am interested in buying their all black flexible panel because I want to compare it to the older one. I'm not super pressed, but I'm curious. If some things kind of line up, I may get one. They're on sale at Home Depot for $151. And it's like, I'm not crazy about that. But like I said, some things line up, I may be able to grab one. If not, I'm not super pressed. But I ended up shooting that video. And then I ended up comparing like a bunch of panels to that one. So I don't know if I'm going to make that video about the Renogy itself, which is what it started out as, or if I'm just going to be like, hey, look, I'm comparing this to all of these, because it kind of evolved into that. So in terms of video making, I could go through that journey of everything that I did to kind of get the Renogy ready to be tested. And, all of the little like vloggy type of stuff where I'm walking around with the camera. I could just make a more like solid value packed video, which I think I'm going to do. And then I may put the full totality of the video over on Patreon. Because to go from the route of like, hey, I got this one, let's compare it to these. These are the numbers. I think that's a more like value packed, like, boom, people watch it, they get the information, and they're good to go. Everything cool in there? Let's see. What's up, former Marshall? Good to see you, man. How's it going? Let's see. I bought a new river on Amazon, and manual package was open, and battery was at 91%. The manual package was open, and battery was at 91%. I returned it immediately. I ain't mad at you. You know what I mean? You don't take no chances with that. Sometimes you'll have to return something, and I feel a little played because they'll send you, some companies will send you refurbished stuff. And I'm like, nah, Ninja, I want a new device again. I don't want nothing you fixed or like charged. I don't play no games. Send it back. Let's see. Okay, running behind on everything. Procrastination is my enemy. Yeah, same here. I just added a Quark battery monitor to my milk crate generator, and it works really good for the price. Man, you got it popping. You said you were gonna create one, and that's what you're doing. That's what's up, Steve. I blame Jason Nor. He made me spend all that money. Not to blame, man. I watched that video like, listen, can I get to 10,000 subs, please, so Bluetti could take me seriously and I could get that dip, like, straight up. Because that thing is nice, man. Nice. Let's see. I see you be rich. 1 second. River Pro is on sale at Costco again. Nice. That's what's up. I dig it. I still kind of want the River Pro, but I'm not going to spend that money on it. Nah, I like the form factor. I was telling Wayne a few months ago, like, man, that the EcoFlow device, that EcoFlow River is just a nice looking device. It is, man. I'm intrigued by it. It's about us right now, girl. Where are you going? I'm aiming to get the Bluetti AC300 Max and the B300. That's what's up. Okay, we got a question here. I have the Jackery 500. I remember Lead Farmer 73 saying it charges slow, which it does, using Jackery's 60 watt panels. Any ideas on panels to try? I don't know much about that Jackery 500, Be Rich. I just know that it works well, but the features are like completely lackluster. And I've never quite been impressed with it. The only one that I'm impressed with is the Jackery 300. But the Jackery 500 does have the benefit of just having the pure 8mm port on it. It doesn't have anything funky. So I don't know how fast that thing charges. And I think the Jackery 500 review from Hobotech was before he started doing like all the fancy testing and stuff like that. And sadly, I don't think in that video he mentions how fast it charges. I don't know. Any ideas on panels to try? That's tough to say, man. I'll tell you what I would do. I will watch a couple more videos on that Jackery 500 just to make sure that it can at least take in up to 100 watts. And then I just buy a 100-watt panel for it. I'm pretty sure it don't charge faster than that. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. And then you'll have to get a MC4 to 8mm cable because you don't have the solar cable to charge with that. Do you have any other power stations? Because if you do and you have solar cables for that, you can adapt like 5521 to 8mm, and that's another route you can go. But and if you're absolutely curious and you need some help and some insight, just email me solarquestions@askive.com. Let's see. And Jason makes it very easy to spend big bucks. Smooth talker. What's up, Thunder? CWG, what's happening? The Delta Mini is nice. Yeah, it is. I like the Delta Mini. If I got sent one of those from EcoFlow, I would not be mad. Delta Mini is nice. The watt-hour capacity is a little low, but I mean, such is life, right? You get that better inverter than most of the devices have. I shouldn't say most. You get the better inverter than the EcoFlow River series has. It's not as good as their bigger ones. I think it maxes out at like 1400 or something like that. I think it can boost, but the normal, I don't use X Boost from these EcoFlow devices. I think it's about 1400 watts. So you don't quite get what you need, but it gets you closer and past the 1000 of the EB120 and 240. That 1000 limitation kind of sucks. 1400, I feel like you could work a little bit better with. It's like really, you only need about 12 for most things. Let's see. Okay, hold on. We may have some answers right here. 100-watt panel. I used to have it. Best you get is 82 watts. My man. So he had the Jackery 500. He's saying a 100-watt panel is a good pairing with it. The most you're going to get is 82 watts, which is fine because a lot of panels don't put out more than that. So you could even go like HQST for like $80, knowing that you're only going to get about 82 watts out of it going into the device, and you probably only get about 80 some odd watts on most days with solar. So that's how I would go, unless you could find like I don't know if I'm really impressed as much with Renogy's output, but the output is similar to all the other panels, to be honest. But it's the cost that makes me kind of raise my eyebrow. Those panels the 100-watt panels did get as cheap as $65. I bought one when it was $65. I don't know what brought that on. But HQST, I think, is the most budget-friendly panel you can get. You could even get a folding panel, but you're going to spend for a folding panel. Yeah, I'll go get some water, guys. Oh, man. Is that right? Let's see. Just make sure you use a 12-volt panel. Yeah, that is important to know. Question. Which one do you prefer? Jackery? Absolutely not. Bluetti, EcoFlow, RockPals. RockPals. RockPals is like a budget-friendly brand. I'm not a binary guy. I like Bluetti and EcoFlow, but you have some real competition coming from this particular model that Alcatel, and Ace Volt are putting out, and some other brands have one too, because it's LiPo. Bluetti literally has no competition for the longest time. They have had no competition for the longest time in the $1,500 mark. But Alcatel, Ace Volt, even like Sateki, I haven't heard much about the Sateki from other channels other than people who got sent the stuff. You got the FF Power. which was formerly, I think, Babine. They have a very similar power station as well. That Bouge RV is not life though. Hey, Jojo, are you serious or are you playing? Well, you don't sound like it.
I was laughing because it was too funny.
Okay, fair enough. You were being tickled. I understand. Let's see. I hope I answered that question. I like Bluetti and EcoFlow. And there's some other devices that perform. They seem to be performing well. RockPals just put LifeBoat in their Rock something 600. But I didn't like that approach because the 300 looks just like the 600 and the 300 doesn't have LifeBoat in it. I wasn't a fan of that. But that 600 does have LifeBoat, so that's interesting. It still has some limitations, but, you know, planes on the snake. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Will do. Replacing my main electrical panel next week, so my solar journey is stalled. So I resorted to buying solar-powered light bulbs because I'm becoming a solar junkie. Oh, you're replacing your panel. That's pretty cool, man. I know you was talking about how costly it was, and I know that feeling. I don't know where I'm at with that, man. That dude was talking about $2,000. I'm not ready. Jackery 500 is up to 30 volts and it has a PWM charger. Man, that thing is a mess. Jackery 500 is a mess. What a shame. Came to win. What's happening, my brother? Hey, Dominique, what's happening? Siobhan. Oh, really? The GoLabs R300 is working good. Yeah, that thing is one of mine got wet and it still works. I think it was Day One Fishing or somebody. Maybe it was Bean Energy who was just like, yeah, you just gotta let it dry out. So what I did was I put it downstairs where my dehumidifier is, and I just let it rock out like that. And I dried it out and it works. And it's been working. I've never had any issues with it. I'm probably gonna give that one away at some point. I've really been going through my list. So I listed all my power stations out. Let me show y'all. Let's see. Let's delve into that a little bit. What's up, Eddie T? It's been a while. That 600 is a limitation. A 600 watt inverter is a toy. That's one way to look at it. I'd say a 300 watt inverter is a toy. But a 600 watt inverter, it's almost not any better, right? It's just that you could do two things on it that use a decent amount of power, right? I don't know. It's like devices in your home typically don't use that kind of power. So I look at it more as though like you could run something at 100 watts, something at 100 watts, another thing at 50 watts, another thing at 200 watts or whatever. It's about us right now, girl. Where are you going? Let's see. Yeah, I dig that. And good luck. It's addictive for sure. The power of the Father. I used to work for a doctor and he never raised his voice, but when he talked, you knew it was on. I have to raise my voice sometimes. My wife was just telling me I'm being a little too hard on the youngest boy. Maybe. I have to take that into consideration. Let's see. What's up, KJ? I saw a van lifer and she had a 2000. A 2000 what? She said she didn't want to deal with any electrical anything. Sounds like me. I just want to plug and go. A 2000 watt hour, a 2000 watt inverter. What do you mean? 2%. Yeah, you're right. Everything in the kitchen, but people power stuff outside of their kitchen. You got a 100-watt fan. You got a TV burning 100 watts. Maybe you have a game console using like 65 to 80, depending on how old it is. So you kind of can get up there really quick. And let's just say you have one power station and that one's hooked up to a nice panel. You may want to charge another power station from it if you have two. I didn't mean to say if you have one. freaking whatever. What sold me on the AC300 was the 2 separate PV strings at 150 volts, each up to 1200 watts per string. I already have 1800 watts of solar, right? I love that, and I love that PV priority. Like, that's just dope. I mean, the device is like, it's almost like, I don't know how one considers the Delta Pro, considering that. I just don't know. Don't quote me on that. Because the Delta Pro is nice. But the Delta Pro has those batteries that have no other functionality outside of the main component. So it's like the AC300 is a more versatile unit, and it's more capable. You think about having all of that power, but then you only have 1200 watts of solar on the Delta Pro, and any other the AC200 Max or whatever. But this one actually being able to pull in like 2 kilowatts, 2.4 if you're being technical, of potential solar at 150 volts is like, that's kind of crazy, right? Has anyone checked out the EcoFlow AC unit? I wonder if Wayne has. I'm not sure. Okay, it's the Jackery Explorer 2000. I wonder, is that Dawn of Van Life or is it somebody else? I know she's got a cushy relationship with Jackery. Good for her. That's what's up. The EcoFlow AC seems too expensive. I don't think those portable ACs are cheap, but maybe. I don't even pay attention to that stuff. You could be absolutely right. Shout out to Javi. What's happening? The question for anyone adding these panels and or switches, are these portable where you can pay to have them removed to take with you if you sell and move? I'm trying to justify paying for, you mean panels on the house? You would love to try van life. What's stopping you? I need a van though. I mean, people do car camping and stuff like that. You don't think you could be into that? I think that stuff is interesting. I don't know that I would do it. The only aspect of me that loves the idea of having like a van, I don't know if I would do an RV. I feel like they're too big, but having one of those little, vans that people sleep in and all that jazz. I just like the fact of that I could have home anywhere with me, a home-ish kind of environment. I don't want to be like out in the woods and on BLM land and stuff like that. I could be like in Best Buy's parking lot or Home Depot's parking lot or something like that. Only what I mean, I'm saying that wrong. Let me take all of that back. I could be in the grocery store's parking lot while my wife is going in grocery shopping and be able to set up shop and kind of like be productive. That's the only reason I would be in the van life. I'm not trying to go be in the woods. I'm a little too city for that. Or if we had to like, when my wife goes to the mall or something, or, I just like that aspect of it. I don't want it for no other reason. I would do RV life, said Dominique. Nice. I dig that. We have semi-feral cats. So van life and or other move is not an option until they have passed. That is an interesting. It's very what is it, pragmatic? Is it pragmatic the word? Van camping here. That's what you would like to do, MJ, or do you do that? Yeah, no woods for me. No woods. Hey, Debo, what's happening? Good to see you. How you doing? You doing okay? Is life treating you well? Oh, I was getting at something. Let me see if I could share this screen with y'all. I've been listening to Drake, so that's on my brain. I don't want to share no slide. Share screen. Let's just share screen too. I think that's safe. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Excuse me. So I wrote down all my I think I threw the paper away. I did it like some time ago when I was calculating all that, my kilowatt storage and capabilities and capacity and all that jazz. I wrote this down, and I wanted to kind of talk about some things that I mentioned before, because I'm kind of gearing up to get rid of a power station or two. And I was thinking about this idea of, can y'all see that okay? Maybe I don't mean panels. I'm talking about the switches. Oh, okay, that people are installing to switch. Yeah, I would imagine that one wouldn't do that if they planned on moving. But if you moved, I don't think you would take that stuff with you. I don't know. What do I know, right? This is true. So let me know. Can y'all see this? Are y'all watching from something where you could see it? I don't think I could even zoom if I wanted to. So these are all my power stations. I have like 18 or 20, right? And I was looking at this bunch right here, which is about 700 to 500 watt hours. I just want to walk you guys through something. So the EB70 and the EcoFlow River Max, those are two devices that I purchased myself. I didn't purchase any of these. They were all sent to me. Right, yeah, it is a lot. Make it full screen. Would that help? Let's see. I don't think the letters are going to give it any bigger. That don't even work. I tried to do a control scroll the mouse wheel. I don't think, I don't use Opera for stuff like this typically, so I don't know where the text zoom is. Let's see. Here, let me try this in a different spot. There we go. So it works, but it's just and then we could get rid of that, and we could scroll up some more, maybe 150. All right, boom. Wayne stunting. Oh, what's up, Wayne? So I was looking at these, right? So the bull bat, they all have drawbacks, right? Some of them more egregious than others. Let's start with the Smartless. The Smartless and the Alcatel P501 will probably be the two that go first. And the reason why is the Smartless has a non-standard, port, but it does have USB-C charging. This is how my brain works. It does dual charge as well. So you can charge it via USB-C. So that means it has bidirectional. It has a non-standard solar port, which sucks, but it also dual charges. It also maxes out solar charging at 60 watts. That's annoying for something that big. Can you imagine that? But you can dual charge it, right? So you can do like 120 into it, I believe. I don't think I've ever really messed around with that, dual charging at the same time. If I charge it from solar, I didn't charge it from anything else because it's not my main device. But if one of y'all happen to win it, then you could charge it from solar and you could charge it from something else. I guess. Why would you do that? I don't know. Non-standard barrel connector, right? The Alcatel, the same. Non-standard barrel connector, but it charges at 110 watts. Does not have bidirectional. It would have been great if this thing had a bidirectional 100 watt port. It has a 100 watt single charge port. You can't charge into it. It would have been so nice if it went both ways. God dog it. The Oops 60 watt max solar charging, 8mm barrel connector, bi-directional USB-C, but it's weird. Sometimes it charges from solar when it wants to. I can't lie, most times it does charge from solar fine, but I've noticed some inconsistencies with it from time to time with a specific panel or two. That was just my experience. It's been doing fine though. I've been having it hooked up to my Renogy Eclipse panel because it's one of the only ones I can charge with 8mm from that 100 watt panel, right? This one, the Big Blue, it charges up to 100 watts as well. but it doesn't have pass-through charging. Also, the fan is annoying. The fan turns on like every 30 seconds. The Big Blue does not have a fan power, but it doesn't have pass-through charging. It charges at 5525. That's the port size, right? It does have dual charging on the USB-Cs. It has two USB-C bi-directional ports. But the screen is weird. You can't trust the screen. The Sateki has a non-standard port. Wait, these three are LiFo. The Bullbat is not LiFo, the Alcatel is not LiFo, and the Smartless is not LiFo. The Sateki can charge up to 100 watts, I think. I put it on the Renogy Flex panel, and it got up to about 80 some odd watts or something like that. So I think it can get up to 100 watts. Non-standard barrel connector. Bi-directional USB-C does not have pass-through charging, so the AC cannot be on while you're charging. The Bullbat doesn't. It's actually a really good device on paper and in practicality, but it's not great. It can charge at up to 136 watts. I think I've been getting like 118 typically. It can also charge from 5525, so it has like a standard port. And it also supports bi-directional USB-C charging on both of its 60-watt ports. So you could power dump into that at 120 watts. The Bullbat will stick around for a while, that's for sure. But the Smartless is probably going to go. The Alcatel is probably going to go. I'm gearing up to give the Oops away, the version 1 Oops, soon. That'll probably be going. So I won't have that one to be worried about. And the reason why I bring all of this up is because with my solar situation kind of shifting, with me pulling a panel in from off of my porch, the panel on the balcony, I don't really deploy that as much. It's not as useful because the sun is overhead for a lot of this portion of summer. So the overhang kind of shades the panel a bit. Plus, I don't want to necessarily rely on that one being up there because it's summertime and that's my wife's space to go out there and chill and stuff like that. So I mainly took advantage of all of these portions of my porch and my balcony because of those winters. So I could have my power stations charged and they could be in the house instead of out in the cold. During summer, I could actually just throw a power station out on the porch and be fine, with the exception of rain, because sometimes they get a little drizzle. So I got all of these power stations, the Sateki, the Big Blue, the Oops, the Alcatel, the Smartless, was that like 2.5 kilowatts of power on paper, that all have limitations. I could literally find one power station. I mean, I can't find, but I wish I could find one power station to kind of like be a solid one of all of these. And then you think about the EcoFlow River Max, just to kind of let you into my brain a little bit. This one is cool, but it's not LiFo. That's a problem. It uses XT60. Common, but not so common. I like XT60 for some applications because it's a snug fit. The same thing goes with Anderson. Anderson is a snug fit. The EB70 has that 8 amp input limit. Why did that make you? What was that about? Hey. The EB70 has the 8 amp limit. It does not, it only has one way to charge. That barrel connector is the only way to charge it. If that barrel connector dies, the device is toast, unless you're going to pull it apart. The good thing about the EcoFlow is it does have two ways to charge it, XT60 and AC. So even if one of those ports dies, you could still kind of use it with something else. So it's like, I have all of these devices, but they're all kind of limping, you know what I mean? In some capacity. Nice devices, cool, but having all of this gives me the benefit of looking at them with a more critical eye. I would look at devices with a critical eye anyway, but it gives me the benefit of doing that, like being more analytical about it. Let's see. And then if you go down a little bit, the Energizer P320, this is a similar situation. Like the Jackery is my rock star here because it can charge at 85 watts, right? But it's not LiFo. The Energizer, LiFo, but it maxes at 60 watts. The GoLabs, LiFo, maxes at 60 watts. The RockPals, So many drawbacks there, but it charges at 72 watts. If I could find something, I was actually hopeful because I got this one, the Cell. Let me get back to this. How do I do this? Boom dizzle hot kizzle. A company sent me this one. It's kind of similar to the EBL, but it's the Cell is what I'm gonna call it. I had hopes for this one, but it maxes out charging at 50 watts on everything. So it's kind of like in the Jackery territory. But it's a cool device. I wanted to take a look at it and do a video on it and then give it away to one of you guys. So that was the plan there. I thought this one was going to be like a bit of a savior for the RockPals because I thought it was from the 8mm, but it maxes out at 50. So that's why the RockPals has not been given away, because it can charge at 72 watts. I find that incredibly useful, but it does not have a regulated 12 volt output. It only has a 30 watt USB-C. That's bi-directional, but that 5521, I love that it's 5521 because that's universal. It can take in 72 watts and then you can dual charge it and get it up to 100 watts if you wanted to power dump into it. Nice device, many limitations. What else? It also cannot pass through charge. The AC does not work. So it's really limping along. Yeah. And then in the smaller section, you know, that's kind of like, there's not much going on there. I just have I don't need that view. I had the GoLabs R300. I really like that device. I'm struggling with whether I give the GoLabs R300 away or if I give the GoLabs R300 away. I like the GoLabs R300 because it's smaller, but I'm not necessarily a fan of the button layout. I'm used to that GoLabs layout. So do I end up having the GoLabs R200 and an R300, or do I let go of the I200 and just have two R300s? I don't know. And if I ever got to the point where I had something that was like better than the GoLabs R300, I'd give both of those away. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't necessarily need all of these devices. Now, when I start to like powering little like knickknacks around my house, like I have a lamp behind the TV now. I have a lamp right here that lights up my kitchen and my den just to kind of keep light usage down. I have in the hallway, you guys may have seen this, the USB light. When I start to put power stations on that stuff, I start to feel like having all these power stations is really useful. And then when I get upstairs and I'm using like the Sevcoms, which is like the Bowden style power station, I'm using that one to light up the room. I have the Bowdens in my kids' room charging their iPhone that plays the Bible experience for them. Have I mentioned the Bible experience to y'all? It's really dope if you're into that kind of thing. It's an audible experience where a bunch of like famous Black actors and actresses kind of voice the words of the Bible. It's dope. I got it for my wife. They dramatized the wife. They dramatized the Bible. There's like sound effects and all of that jazz. It's like a whole audible experience. It's really dope. The kids love it. I got it for my wife for her birthday one year, and you know, we've been rocking out ever since. Let's see. Let me see what y'all talking about. Add a magnifier window. I tried that, Eddie T, but what happens is it only magnifies it for me. It doesn't translate to the screen share. All these weird names, that's for sure. I've got it somewhere on CD. Yeah, that's how I got it for her. This was back when I had like an iPod video, and before that I had an iPod Touch. Not the touch with the screen, the actual touch that had the click wheel and you could scroll it around. I'm pretty sure I still have one of those iPods around here. I bought an iPod when they first came out, when that dip just had FireWire on it only. So I had like this old compact Presario that I got from Radio Shack, and I had to buy a FireWire card because I didn't know it only used FireWire. So that was interesting, to say the least. So when I critique Apple, and I'm really hard on Apple, people like to give me pushback. And I'm like, man, I've had Apple products before you even thought of buying an Apple product. I'm an OG out here in this game. You need to shut up. I bought an iBook G4 sight unseen when they only had like a store in like California or Texas. The closest store to me was in Texas. Apple's all over the place now. So I smack people like, shut up. I got a problem with Apple. The slow walking technology.
Considering you ain't got no stock in them.
Well, I'm still just a young black man from the lower ninth ward. I ain't had no stock money.
You had Apple money, you had computer money.
That's a fair point. You are right. You're right. I should have bought stock in them. You're right. That's all you be trying to say, right? So let me see what y'all snapping and trapping about. Let's see here. Oh, people were buffering. That sucks. Control plus, yeah, that's good. If I get a number one, it needs to be at least 1,000 watt output. It needs to be able to take in at least 500 watts of solar. I dig that. Oh, frozen! Oh no, it froze. Hopefully y'all back. Let me see. My power went out right before you came on. I'm like, yes, let's test this out. Out for 30 seconds enough. I need to fix all the clocks. Yeah, that's true. Seems good. Things. The Energizer P320 might be the best sub 5 100 hour option. That 100 watt PD is nice. Waiting for it to hit 240 again, unless the price is right for the EB3A in the price range. But I think not. That's interesting. The only downside to this Energizer is that 60 watt solar charging. If that thing charged even if it did like 72 or 80 watts, that would be dope. That thing would have no competition, barely. Because then you got the EcoFlow that sometimes hits 250, but it's not LiFePo. It's like we're all just waiting for these people to catch up. The EB3A is interesting. It has some promise. I mean, it's a dope device. It's just a dope device a little late to the party, but that just goes to show you how lacking we are in that particular price range, right? And I don't know if the price is going to be right on that one, like you're saying, but it's basically EcoFlow River with LiFePo. So that's dope. I mean, if you're in the market for EcoFlow River, and you know what I mean, it's like we might as well get the EB3A, 100%. Let's see. I have Saya's phone. What else? What else you looking for? Here, take this anyway, because it don't need to be over here. Thank you. Oh, I had to refresh. Let's see. Is it on Google Play? It is what on Google Play? Ask me that again. I still have all my old iPods. That's what's up. I got an iPod Shuffle down there somewhere. I was trying to use it. Something was weird about it. I was going to try and use it in the car. Because I listen to my music on Shuffle. I have tweaked my playlist so much in iTunes because I've been into that for so long. I mean, I had an iPod before there was even iTunes. You had to use Music Match, which I love Music Match. Music Match had one of the best ways to tag music than any other software. Media Monkey is what I would use now if I was into that. But I tried to use it, but I couldn't. I used to love those little the iPod shuffles that looked like they were like little clips. They were like that big. I thought that was dope. Maybe that big. Because I listened to my music on Shuffle, it's like, yeah, I would just dump a little bit of music on there and then I'll rock out. I like options. So sometimes I didn't want to carry that heavy iPod video or whatever it was. Ooh, and then there was the iPod Shuffle that had the video screen, which is what the Apple Watch kind of is like. People even put watch bands on those. The only downside to those is they were like extremely limited in their utility. But I was into buying one of those used. I wasn't gonna buy it new because Apple products are too expensive sometimes. Do you have any 12-volt low draw fans? Why, yes, I do, Steve. I got one on me right now. I'm gonna unplug just for your benefit. I have a short on this one too. I don't know what the brand is, but I bought this one. This is one I tried out. This thing barely uses like 4 watts and it keeps the air moving around you. I also have this O2 Cool. I'm wireless now, y'all. You know what I mean? I'm out here in these streets. So I could just roll away. And my wife, when she's on, she could just walk away. I got one of these. They're called Treva now. Treva. I learned about this from Jason Oy, but people have told me about it under the O2 Cool name. I like this fan. It's loud. I only run it on low. And another issue one thing that I like about it is that this is a 5521 port, right? So you plug that directly into a power station with a cable like this. You go to your 5521 port on your power station, plug this right in. You don't have to use their AC adapter. You don't have to use like a stupid 12 volt to 5521. You could use that if you want, but I prefer the cable approach. The only downside is that this port is kind of loose. The cable will fall out of it really easily. I'm using the which panel? The little flex solar panel that I have. That cable on that is really long, so I use that to power it. But if I wanted it to be right up on me, I could use something like this, which is a 5521 to 5521 male to male cable. Nice little fan. And it only uses like 5 watts. It uses like 6 watts. When you use it on AC, I think it uses like 7 or 8. So even still, it's not a dang, my bad for the rustling. It's not a high draw fan. Whereas compared to these little Walmart fans we got for like $10, the lowest they use is like 25 watts. But again, this Treva fan is loud, man. It's loud. So I don't like that. Let's see. What's up, Black Plumber? I still have all my blah, blah, blah. I like my i200. It's a nice little device. And when it was like 140, 130, I think it's like the budget champ. I haven't done the math to see what the cost per watt hour is, what it compared to the R300 at 199, but it was like 140 or 125 or 129 or something like that for 256 watt hours. I feel like the math has to be in its favor, right? It's only 50 watt hours off from the dip. That's like $60 more. So I think that one's a really good. I mean, the screen is a bit basic, but it shows you watts. It shows you watts coming in. It shows you what's, man, it's a nice little device. I'm impressed with it. I need to make a video on it soon. Let's see. I don't know what that's about. Are you looking to expand with your solar arsenal? What do you mean, KLP? Always. I mean, I have a YouTube channel, so, as long as it keeps growing, they're going to keep sending me stuff. Unless, the world just, yeah. I got a tornado and I love it. Yeah, but it uses a good bit of power, though. That's the only downside to those little fans. I have a tornado heater, I believe, not a fan. I'm using one of my 12 volt fans too, and it has light. Interesting. Hey, MJ. Tornado has 12 volt or USB. Is that a question? Yeah, I still have a mini shuffle knockoff. Use it while walking. Been so long. I forgot how to use it. Low music on. A mini shuffle knockoff. That's interesting. R300 is the best budget device in my opinion. Got one for myself and my bro when they were 169. Yeah, 170. Geez, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. That little thing is a champ for sure. I'm not big on the fan coming on, but the fan is like low and stuff like that. I like my power stations to be quieter in some applications. All right, let me get this back. And let's get back here. We talked about all my power stations, the shortcomings, just kind of going through that. So the Renogy 320 watt panel, I came across somebody who has some for sale, and I was going to offer them, they're selling them for $350, which is like ridiculous. They cost $350 now, and they're more expensive now than they used to be. Home Depot had them for $300 a pop, 2-pack for $600 at one point, but now they have them. The 2-pack is like $700. So you selling a panel at cost. And the thing about the Home Depot situation is that you could get it shipped to store, so you don't have to pay freight, shipping at all. You can just drive up to a Home Depot and scoop them up. So I messaged the guy, and I was like, I was gonna be like, let me put what's up?
Neither of them are working on the monitor upstairs.
Neither of them are working. What do you mean? The remotes or the devices themselves?
The TV's not coming on, or the monitor's not coming on. So what do I need to do?
I really don't know what to say. I mean, we plug them into USB. I'm sure it's going to turn on.
Which remote goes with which?
We just got to figure it out. That's why I usually keep the wires attached to them, and I keep the right angle attached to one, because one of them is the one we use on here. One of them is the one we use on the monitor that you use.
Okay.
So you just have to kind of figure it out.
So what I was doing. Should I put the USB into a brick instead of into the TV?
Like you plug it into the TV and the TV's on?
No, the monitor's not coming on. Do I need to figure that out first?
Yeah. Maybe the wire's not plugged in all the way, because if the monitor's not on, then the Roku's won't pull power from the USB.
Okay.
So I was going back to the Renogy panel. I was gonna be like, hey man, let me put 400 in your pockets for that, because he has a good bit of them. But I didn't think 200 a panel was feasible, so I bumped it up to 450. So I messaged the guy. We'll see what he says, but I'm trying to get 2 more. And the reason why is because I have that Ace Volt, I have the Alcatel, which has a Renogy 320 on it, and then I could put a 320 on the EB120, so I can actually use the panels now. I know way back when I bought the Renogy 320 for $250, I debated on whether or not I should buy 2, and then when I tried to get another one, the dude was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna sell it for $250 to you," which I feel like he was tripping, because you could have got it brand new from Home Depot at that point for $300. So for you to sell it to me for $250, it was like, yeah, you could probably go a little lower than $250 at that point. But I probably shouldn't have this on screen, should I? It just look all fancy sitting there. May have to edit that out. So we'll see what he says. I don't know, man. Some people don't respond to messages. Some people do. Which brings me to the other thing. I'm still looking into walkie-talkies. I was talking to Set Tight about it. He was like, yeah, I don't see the use of them. And I was like, yeah, well, they work for me. I got the 2 Motorola's. I don't have them nearby. I could go and get them since I'm wireless. You know what I mean? But I'm going to let them live. I have the Motorola T600s. I got 2 of those from this guy off of the marketplace for $40 a pop. Those dips cost like $80 brand new. And they could cost even more if you don't get them from Amazon. They're only to be outdone by the T800s from Motorola, which have the ability to connect to your phone via Bluetooth and to send text messages and like GPS data over the walkie-talkie signal itself, which is dope. But it doesn't work very well. So it's like, so let me walk you down this path, right? I'm super picky about buying stuff and features, but because I got the T600s at such a low price, that allowed me, one, to experience what it's like to use walkie-talkies. We took them on our trip. I really enjoyed them. But the T600s are huge. I'm going to go grab them. I'll be right back. Y'all should still be able to hear me. We'll see if this cuts out. Let me know if it cuts out. I don't know where those walkie-talkies are. They are in the car, so I cannot grab them. So I cannot grab them. They're in the car. I'm not going to be bothered with that. I ain't going all the way out there. Did the audio break up? I feel like right around the way should have been fine. I need to get a lavalier, a shorter lavalier to hook directly into this, so I don't have this hanging off my shirt, but this can be like kind of like in my lap or something, and then the lav can come up here and be a little lighter weight, but then I still be wireless. Can you guys still hear me? I want to make sure I'm still maintaining that connection. What's up, James Glenn? Audio was good. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. So Okay, let me finish this thought with these walkie-talkies, right? So I have the T600s. They are waterproof, nice walkie-talkies, but they're kind of big. I feel bad giving it to my wife when she goes out somewhere because it's such a beastie little device. So I want to get some smaller ones. I was poking around and I got to the point where I realized like, why don't you see what the written reviews are for this stuff? So I started to mess around with that. And what I landed on, long story medium, is I want to try out these Midland LP 600s. I'll see if I can show you. I typically don't like to use Amazon in this browser window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a private one. Amazon want to be all in your business. All of them do. Amazon, Facebook, and who's the other one? Google. So I put them all in different browsers. Control P. What are you doing? Control Shift New. That's a keyboard command for a private window. Let's go to Amazon.com.
Okay, so I got it on.
Out. Okay.
But none of the remotes are working.
You may just have to kind of work with it to get it to kind of start to work. Because sometimes if you do it in a circle, like the number 8, it kind of wakes the remote up. At least I read that somewhere. Don't quote me on that. It's the Midland LXT 600. This is the wrong joint. Here it is. Let me share the screen again. This one right here. I'm gonna try this one out. This is how real it gets. I don't like that this has a barrel connector to charge. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know if I should not like that because micro USB connections can be kind of finicky after a while, right? I mean, they typically do very good now, but that's the reason why some devices don't use the micro, they use the mini because the mini is a more like robust connection. It'll stay plugged in. But I don't like the barrel connector. I'm just not a fan of it. I'd much rather USB, but maybe it charges faster via, I can't read that. That's too small. Maybe it charges faster because it can pull more power through a barrel connector. I'm not a fan of that, but I'm going to try them out. I'm curious about the size compared to the Motorola T600s. So I'm going to grab these. And how I got here was something that was popular for, in these write-ups was the Midland T10, which was a cheaper walkie-talkie, less features. But I was thinking about that because my kids love the walkie-talkies, obviously. And I don't even mind them playing with the T600s. They're waterproof. They're pretty beastie. So it's okay. But I want to get some more. And plus with them things being like super big, I wanted to get some smaller ones. So I'm trying these. And I'm also going to go to Home Depot. If I can go tonight, I will. But I don't know if I'll be able to go tonight. I want to try the Cobra ones for $50. And some things that I've noticed is that on the cheaper ones, they don't have backlights, right? I think backlight is pretty important. I'm a middle tier kind of guy. I don't necessarily need to have the most expensive, but I don't want the cheapest either, unless the cheapest just gets the job done. So I thought about trying some of those Midland T10s, which are about $30 for 2. Let me show you. Yeah, these are them. You can see no backlight, just simple, straightforward. Well, you can't see that. Sorry, you cannot see that. These are the Midland T10s. Little small dips, right? I'm a fan of that. I feel better about putting that in my wife's hand to clamp to her purse. But then, what's funny about that? I was looking at a review of them and I was like, these are too small. So that's kind of why I like these, because they had a little bit of like, because I have pretty nice sized hands. And these are not too small, but they're not too big either. I don't like the barrel connector. I don't believe that they can charge over USB. I think they charge over that port as well. But you can also put regular batteries into them, which is also a good option. So you can see like how I'm getting all of these like practical understandings of how these devices work and what features to look for. Like I was like, when I was first getting into walkie-talkies, I kind of wanted one thing to do them all. So I wanted the weather band, I wanted micro USB charging if I could have got it. It's sad that they don't even make a walkie-talkie with USB-C. There's one out there by Refurbished or Refurbished or something like that. And I was compelled by that one, but I don't know. I have to kind of revisit that. Because at the end of the day, I just need to be able to speak clearly within about a 6-block radius in my neighborhood. And when we're going and we're in hotels and when we're at the beach or when we're driving, when my wife is running inside of a store, I need to be able to like get to her quickly instead of trying to hit her up on Telegram or call her or something like that. I wanted something instant. So we got use out of it while we were traveling for sure. And it came in handy, but they're just so freaking big. Okay, let's see what y'all snapping and driving about. I must have missed all the relevant, exciting solar talk. We still getting through it. Let's see. I could never be on a game show about solar. Okay, what was James talking about? Do you have a P.O. box people can send things? I don't. I have an address that people can send things to. An associate of mine has like a physical location because I don't want people sending stuff to the house. That if it really came down to it, I could have stuff shipped there. I need to reestablish connection with him to make sure that that's okay. That's kind of been my hesitation. Some people have wanted to send stuff to me every now and then, and it's like because I don't have something. I wish I could get it. Actually, somebody mentioned something where at a UPS or a FedEx or whatever, you can get a box there. And actually, somebody was talking about this as it relates to remote work or something. Yeah. Like living on the streets. People were talking about it living in their van. This Asian cat was talking about, I think he was living in like San Francisco or something like that to do his work. And he was living in his van. And he talked about being able to get an address at one of those shipping stores because it doesn't show as a P.O. box. So you don't raise the eyebrow of your potential employer. You just have a regular address that looks like a normal address. So I may look into that. I wish the post office actually offered virtual addressing where you could give people a public facing address and then only the post office knows to send it directly to you. That would be dope. I've seen some stuff on forums many years ago. I didn't look into it many years ago, but the forums were from many years ago, and the post office was thinking about it. It was like a public forum, but I don't think they implemented it. So that kind of sucks. And then with a P.O. box, the size matters. So you have to pick up it's like power stations and stuff like that. You can't send it to a P.O. box, or maybe you could, depending on the post office. I don't know. But long story long, I kind of have something, but I'm a little hesitant because it's a person's business. He said it was cool. You know what I mean? It's a community-based kind of thing. So I could. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, just a quick blip. I did that video on the Flex Power. I also have this solar panel right here that I bought because it was on sale. I can't see that. The Renogy eFlex 50. I bought it because it was basically, how much did it cost? It may have been $70 or something, which a 50-watt folding panel should cost $100 because they try to hit you for $2 a watt. This thing actually put out about 35 watts. So, I have this theory about this idea of like paying $2 a watt for actual output is actually interesting. Instead of paying $100 for a 50-watt panel, that only gives you 35 watts. I paid $70 for a 50-watt panel. That gives me 35 watts. You kind of, that makes sense. So I got this panel and I never did a video on it. I'm sure it's a PET panel, just looking at it. I thought about it in terms of like having travel implications, but if you got this one, This one, because it's a bifold, it's almost the same size as a quad fold 100-watt panel. So why would I take this one with me when I could take a 100-watt panel that sits in pretty much the same footprint, just a little thinner, right? They don't sell this anymore. So I was kind of debating on whether or not to make a video on it because it feels almost useless. And it's an interesting little panel. I may do one anyway, but it's hard to, I mean, you make a video about a panel that people, if they like, they can't even buy it anymore. So that feels kind of like, feels foul. What do y'all think? Should I make the video on the panel even though you guys can't buy it, or just kind of like, nah? What's up, Captain Kirk? I got hooked after seeing you on Jason Noir. Interesting, man. That's what's up. That you know, that puts a smile on my face. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Oh man, that's dope. That's great to hear. Great tip. I have to end. The post office used to have general delivery. General delivery option. Also interesting. Does the bifold identify? That's a soul. It identifies as whatever it wants to identify as, right? Balance for freedom. Hey, what does that mean? Let's see. Is anyone very concerned about food prices? I've been buying some storable food, canned goods, etc. Going out this weekend to buy more canned protein. That's interesting, man. That is interesting. I have your address. Okay to ship to you. You have my address? How do you have my address, James? That's interesting. I've been canning more pork and we've added extra flour. I saw that guy. That's awesome. Are we getting together at church to learn how they can? That's what do you mean? Am I missing something? UPS stores have PO boxes, but it seems like a real assigned address or something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Sharon. That may be a way to go. I don't know how that stuff actually works, but I bought that I bought that panel because someone I know recommended it. It's a cool looking panel. Hey, Linda Iannone, what's happening? I'm doing fine. The family's a little under the weather, but we're doing fine. All right, James, PM me. That's interesting. And also, this little Evatronic thing that I mentioned to you guys, it was like a featured product, a sponsored featured product. I like using this thing. I really do. I enjoy using it. The fact that it has this digital readout on it, it shows 100. I'm not going to change the focus, but it shows 100%. I love using this thing on my my lights and my cameras because I know exactly where it stands. Pretty dope. Good dip. It's the Evatronic power bank. It was $30 and it's been on sale for $20. They sent it to me for free and I did like a product feature spot on the live because I can't see making videos for stuff like this because the channel's not about this. And I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot by making like off-brand videos and stuff like that. No, it is what it is. I got some Motorola walkie-talkies that are USB charged. I'm trying to find some more used ones, but I have to kind of like, what's the word? I have to control myself because, you know, $40 here, $20 there, $60 here. I don't know if I would spend $60 on used walkie-talkies, but you know, $40 here and there adds up. And I'm really just trying to find. I'm going for a couple things. I'm going for like some cheaper ones that are smaller. That's the key. I want them to be smaller and I want them to work well. I don't have these ideas of grandeur of like them working for miles and miles. I only need a couple blocks. And that's about how much you can get in the city, but that's fine. You know what I mean? It's a situation where when my wife is going on a walk, if she has run into a situation, she can just boom, immediately let me know what's happening. Like, baby, there's a dog coming or, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? Somebody's talking crazy or slick. And then, you know what I mean? But my kids love them. So, you know, there's a couple of them I saw on Offer Up, I believe, and I messaged the people, but they were posted some time ago. Those people may not even have Offer Up profiles anymore or have the application on their phone. So I like the fact of being able to get my hands on multiple different types of devices, so I can formulate an informed opinion that helps me to get to a point where I know what I want in a device. And I don't like buying stuff with the intention of returning it. That feels foul to me. So I don't really get into that. And then I feel like there could be videos made on this stuff. They wouldn't go on this channel. They would go on my other channel that I have yet to launch, which will be called Random Tech Videos. And the whole premise there is just like, I feel like it's videos the internet deserves. I'm not necessarily looking to grow or create a following or anything like that, but I just feel like there's some stuff out there that you can't find good videos on, or it's like the robot voice, or it's somebody talking in another language, but all of the titles are in English. I don't understand that. It's like, why wouldn't you type in your language if you're going to do the video in your language? That annoys me to no end. But anyway, like I've been researching Bluetooth earbuds, and I don't want to go back to getting a pair of AirPods, but I may have to, because all the other like AirPod style of earbuds, and I'm not talking about the knockoffs. They're not good. So, but the AirPod audio quality is not great either. You know what I mean? They don't get super loud. It's Father Apple protecting your hearing because you're a delicate child and making all their decisions for you. That's how Apple gets down. So I don't know if I want to spend another $100. I have a pair of AirPods, but the battery died in them, and they don't really fix them. And I reached out to Apple, and they say they would charge you like $50 a bud to replace them. And I'm like, am I hearing that right? I actually had to call somebody to say, am I reading this right? That you will replace my earbud for $50 a bud, and they're on Amazon for $99 brand new? Like, is that what you're telling? He was like, yeah, that's kind of, I'm like, kinda, do you know, man? Do you know? He was like, yeah, that's what I'm reading. I was like, you know what? Thank you. Have a good day. Direct comms are needed, especially if infrastructure goes down. That's a fact. The Baofeng UVSR, if you're willing to bend the rules. Yeah, I'm not willing. I don't want to have no problems with nobody about them FCC laws and rules and all that jazz. With regard to Baofeng, I know they had gotten into trouble, but Ria was saying that they kind of clean up their act a bit. Now their radios are not like spilling over into other hertz and all that jazz anymore. So they're kind of like better now. Good for you. I was actually just researching the GMRS stuff because I want to get the license, because I may find better radios and range in the GMRS. I hope I'm saying that right. Something, I don't know. It's a level above the FRS, which is the family radio service, which is what normal walkie-talkies go on. And then you have some walkie-talkies that do FRS and the GMRS, and then you have some that just do GMRS, and maybe they do FRS too. So I don't know. But that'll be my next step. I think the license fee dropped from 70 to 35. I think I haven't been paying close attention to it, but my plan is to get some FRS radios, just regular walkie-talkies. Then I want to go up to the GMRS to increase the range, but I have to be able to find hardware that I like. I don't think Baofeng is it. I want to be walking around looking like a security guard, having people ask me where stuff is. But I mean, for range and all that jazz, I may have to just kind of bend on that. But I want a nice looking radio. I like nice looking stuff. And a Baofeng, I ain't never seen one that looked good to me. It looked like something the security guards use at the front desk of businesses and all that jazz. Oh, really? GMRS combo units were banned. Some new old stock still around. That's interesting. I don't know what to make of that, because I think on Amazon there's a version of that Midland one that's GMRS, but I think it does both. But you could be right, man. Don't get me to making stuff up. I really like the form factor of the Power Beats, bro, but like you, the batteries are shot. Interesting. The Power Beats are the ones that curve around your ear. I'm not the biggest fan of those. My wife kind of is, but I don't know. I never really got into the Beats stuff. That could just be me being anti-culture, which I can be sometimes, especially in my youth. I never really got into the beats. I got a pair of knockoffs for $30. I'll just have to deal with their shortcomings. I dig that. I'm a little harder to please in that regard. Even has a flashlight, and you even have FM radio stations. That's pretty cool. Larry Shy, what's happening? New SRs are easily converted. New 5Rs? Am I reading that right? FCC was not able to enforce the GMRS rule on the FRS market radio, so they gave up. Oh, okay. Starlink, and I didn't like what Starlink was doing with their prices, man. It's like people had these hopes for roaming, and now they're charging extra for roaming, and now it's slower if you roam. I mean, Starlink is better than nothing, but I just don't like these games. Elon is playing with these prices. He does that stuff everywhere. You know, the car, you have to pay for the the driving, and the price is just gonna keep going up, and it's literally just software, and they got the nerve to be raising the price on it. It's just like, man, do be wilding. Let's see. So IP telephony, I think that's how do you pronounce that? I've always read it in my mind. I don't think I've ever heard anybody audibly say that word. So in my mind, it's telephony. Telephony? I don't know. Telephony is a great option. I'm not hipped on that one. What would that look like? I've gotten into some like voice over IP related stuff in the past. Like I have a little box that who makes it? I forget who these people are, but you can connect a Google Voice account to it and basically turn your Google Voice line into a landline, which is very interesting. I got it with the intention of, I think it's Polycom. The Polycom devices may have been bought by somebody else, but yeah, it was a whole thing. Telephony, okay. Telephony, I don't know, man. I'll look it up. I'll see how somebody pronounces it. Maybe I'll watch a video or something. But I've always been kind of curious about voice over IP, even before it became popular. Like I had like a Magic Jack at one point. I wanted Vonage at one point. We did have Vonage. We had Vonage cell phone service. Babe, you gotta get out of the camera. You gotta get out of the camera, fam.
Sorry.
Dang, you gotta keep that tucked away. And with that, that's a wrap for me. I got to see what time Home Depot closes because I am itching to try those Cobras. My Midlands don't come until next week. And that'll give me some time to not be doing them at the same time because then I can get those Cobras. I can mess around with those and then kind of figure out where I stand on those. And if they work fine, if they work well, then maybe I won't keep the Midlands. I don't know. We'll see. It is telephony. Interesting. I will send a set of radios I have. Yeah, are you gonna message me on Facebook Messenger? I am intrigued by how you have my address. That is a bit concerning. That is a bit concerning, but we'll figure it out. James Glenn, apparently. How do you identify that? He's a viewer of the YouTube channel. Let's see. I don't think the dude is going to get back to me on the Renogy panels. We'll see.
You want to watch something?
I'm kind of gearing up. Oh, I have some stuff I need to ship, and I'll take care of that soon. Home Depot closes at 10. That's a friend at the bank gave it to me. That's interesting. That's creepy, man. I feel like let's just move on from that one. It's easy to find people nowadays, I guess. I'm not necessarily. I don't know. People are weird. Yeah, I mean, people are weird. That's for sure. Let me just leave it at that. But can you see yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, were you able to wave? Oh man, you could barely see yourself. Oh, you gotta come on the other side so you can see your face.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah, shoot. That's all I got. Do you guys have any questions for me? I can't wait to listen back to this one so I can hear the audio because I feel like I'm a little more nitpicky than many of you guys are. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I ain't got no questions. I'm gonna be out. Do you have a Gmail for the channel? Yeah, I do. It's askivesolar at Gmail. I guess can that be used to reverse engineer my I worked for the telephone company for 22 years. Telephony. And do you say it all one word? Oh, okay. Telephony. Telephony. Is that it? Is that how you would say it? Telephony. I had a childhood friend. He would say when somebody like tried to make a joke or something like that at his expense, he'd be like, "Oh, you trying to crack a funny?" Like that's what you trying to do? You trying to crack a funny? I used to like that. I was always a fan of that. All right, send me a message. Yeah, and yes, in a word quick like an Italian. I can't. Okay, so today, did I talk about real quick? I'm trying to get up to 10,000 subs. So I'm putting that hashtag in all my videos going forward. And I also am doing the hashtag summer of solar. And the whole premise behind that is I'm gonna be putting out more videos more regularly. Kind of almost to the point as like they're ready. So what I need from you guys, even if you're not interested in the video, play the video. And if you're feeling generous, like the video because the videos can kind of compete with each other. So I hope you guys don't skip over and stuff like that. And you do whatever it is you want. But if you want to support the channel, that's where you can support the channel. Also, in every video, I have all of the payment information. I did figure out some stuff. I had to talk to PayPal because PayPal treats all my donations as services. And I think what people need to start doing is they need to start sending it to a family, a friend, or whatever. And I even have to tell businesses that now because what it does is it pings me for the money and it should ping the business. Now, y'all can do it whatever way y'all do it. But what happens is they'll hold it because they're waiting for me to give you whatever service or good you paid for me instead of you just sending money to a family friend or whatever, where I think they'll take the 2.9% and the 30% from your amount, or maybe they tack it on or something like that. I don't know. I have to test. Maybe one of you guys could test it for me and let me know what it looks like. But I'm curious about how that goes because I think what people do is they'll see, okay, yeah, it's a fee for me. I'm not going to use that one. And actually, there's only fees if you use like credit card. It's a whole thing. I'm trying to get educated on it. But if you have money in your PayPal balance or if you have a bank account linked to your PayPal, I don't think it charges you a fee to send money that way. So it's a whole thing, but I'm figuring it out. I say all that to say, if you guys want to be generous with your coins in all the videos, I put like the little information down there. I'm also going to start putting my contact information in all the videos because as long as it can fit, because some people will ask questions on the videos themselves, and I would much rather those people reach out to me, preferably on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or Telegram, because then I can send those voice messages back to you relatively easy. Sometimes it's not as easy when someone has a somewhat involved question to come and sit down and type. It's just easier for me to be able to fire off messages real quick to you to get clarity instead of waiting for, okay, I commented. Then I have to heart it because the heart sends a notification, because not everybody has notifications set up for likes and replies. So I could reply to a comment, and if you don't have your notifications on for replies to your comments, I didn't for the longest, then you won't ever know that I replied to your comment. That's why I kind of heart every comment, because it sends out a legit notification. Oh, I'm glad you made it home, MJ. Traveling on them streets. Jason over here, super late. Hey, man, good to have you. Captain Kurt, I believe, came over to the channel because of you, sir. So thank you. And he says he enjoys the content. Put a smile on my face. That's for sure. The radios I am sending are grandfathered and have micro USB charging with rechargeable batteries included. Yes, 1099 generates from PayPal. Can you tell me what kind of radios they are? I'm curious about it. Or just email me. We'll figure it out. Oh, you say you emailed me already. Okay, I missed that. All right. Guys, I'm out of here. Y'all be beautiful. Until next time. Look for more videos because I'm putting them out.